Every single entity in the world, every single person in the world has an agenda. Period. Banks are in the business of lending you money. Credit card companies are in the business of lending you money. Corporations are in the business of selling you stuff. What you want to do is understand how these entities work. That way you can use it to your advantage. Because what we've talked about now is how when you're financially stupid, you're going to be used by the banks. You're going to be used by the credit card companies. And when you're used by them, you're going to be the person that's making them rich at your expense. But if we flip this up a little bit, if you know how to use the credit card, if you know how to use the bank, well, now you can use them to your advantage. For example, I only like spending money with my credit card. I don't really carry around any cash and I never carry a debit card. So when I spend money, I like to use my credit card. Now, I never carry a balance and I never pay any interest because I pay off my entire balance every month in full, every time. And the reason why is because when I use my credit card, I get cash back. I get perks like I get hotel upgrades, I get flight upgrades, I get rental car upgrades, I get free insurance on things, and I get that purchase protection on things as well. So there's a lot of benefits that you can get when you know how to use the system. It's the same with your bank. Well, guess what? When you're not using your bank to finance your Gucci, when you're not using a bank to finance other liabilities that you don't need to survive, well, now you can use your bank to your advantage. I mean, at the very base level, you could use your bank as a place to get some interest on your money. Now, this is not the best place to keep your money, but if you have a high interest savings account, which is like what I have, well, now you can get 3, 4, 5% a year in interest on your savings just for sitting there. Now, I have cash sitting there to protect me against an emergency. I have cash sitting there that's waiting to be invested. You have to have a place to store your cash, but if you know how to use the bank, now you can have the bank pay you instead of you paying the bank interest. Not just that, if you want to go down the debt route, which, you know what, this is for some people, not for everybody, but you can use debt the right way as well. Now, I am not an advocate of going out and taking debt to finance things that are going to lose you money, like a car or your clothes or a vacation. But if you wanted to go out and say buy rental properties, now you could use the bank to borrow money to make money. Because if you can borrow money to buy a rental property, well, now this rental property can pay for your mortgage and put some money in your pocket, but you got to do it the right way. This is why I say all debt is bad debt, because even this quote unquote good debt, which you're using to buy a rental property, can turn bad very quickly if you don't know how to use it and if you don't know how to manage it, which is why you got to be very cautious when you're using this type of debt. But if you understand the system, now you can learn how to use it to your advantage. It's the same thing with corporations. People will talk about how every corporation is a scam because they're trying to sell you stuff. No, duh. Every corporation in the world is trying to sell you something because that's what businesses do. They try to sell their stuff. But now, the reason why people get upset is because they don't know how to say no. Because when you're walking down the street and somebody says, hey, do you want to buy this fridge? People feel attracted to pull out the credit card and say, yes, please take my money. No, don't give me the fridge. Yes, give me the fridge. People feel like they can't control their spending. But this has to now go to yourself. And how do you control what you do with your money? Businesses want to sell you things. Banks want to sell you debt. Credit card companies want to sell you more debt. And this is where you got to understand, well, you don't want to be the person that's making all these companies rich before you're rich. I want you to have the nice things. There's nothing wrong with that. I want you to make BMW rich. I want you to make Rolex rich, but I want you to do that after you are rich. I don't want you to make them rich at the expense of you being rich. See, if you want to have the nice things, that's fine. You got to give these companies money in order to have the nice things. But when you're giving them the money before you have any money, before you have any wealth, now your priorities are all in the wrong place. And that's where I want you to learn how to use the system by understanding how this stuff works. Because the problem is, right now, the average person is just making everybody else rich. And not just that, they're never going to have a chance to build wealth themselves because not only are they giving their money to all these corporations, but then they're spending money they don't have through credit cards and through other loans. So now, even if they're kind of trying to buy the stuff with cash, you still got to pay everything else off plus interest. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.